Hi, wonderful children! I am your wonder teacher, Joanna Pauline Santillan, that will teach you an amazing life cycle of the different organisms here on surroundings. I am here also to discover some new things about the organisms we produce. So, are you ready, kids? Before we proceed to our lesson, let's start with an activity relating to our next topic and also to know if you have any idea on our today's lesson. Okay, are you ready, kids? Fantastic! Let's start. What is the missing stage in the life cycle of the butterfly? A. Adult. B. Egg. C. Larva. D. Pupa. Very good. So let's proceed to number 2. The plant cycle starts with A. Adult. B. Seed. C. Flower. D. Pupa. Okay, so I have a question, children. So, what are the animals that was born that hatch from eggs? Is it chickens, snakes, or turtle? What do you think? Next question. So, what animals was born alive? Is it a cows, a goat, or a dog? So, is the fish considered born alive? Okay, we will find it later. So, can you name some insects that go through complete metamorphosis process? Do you have any idea? Okay, so we will discover it later. So I can see that you all are curious on what is our lesson. Okay, settle down, wonderful children, because we will talking about different life cycle of an organism. So listen carefully so that you may understand our lesson. Are you ready, kids? Let's start. So life cycle refers to one lifespan or generation of the organism. May or may not include changes in manner, behavior, and habitat. What are the examples of living things? Whether a plant or animal, all living things undergo changes as they go through life. A life cycle includes all the stages a living thing through from birth to death. So we have the human life cycle. Metamorphosis. Plant life cycle. Animal that born alive and hatch from egg. Okay, so human life cycle. Did you know that the human have life cycle? Okay, so we have the fetal stage. Extends from the beginning of the 9th week after fertilization to about 38 weeks fertilization, which is the average time of birth. Okay, so next we have the infancy, the first year of life, and is the period of most rapid growth after birth, newborn to 1 year old. Okay, so we have childhood, the time for children to be in school and at play, to grow strong and confident with the love and encouragement of their family and an extended community of caring adults. 2 to 12 years old. We have the adolescence, is the period following the onset of puberty, during which a young person develops from a child into an adult. Let's proceed to adulthood, the period in the human lifespan in which full physical and intellectual maturity has been attained. At this age, they can also reproduce their own kind. And last, we have the old age, refers to ages nearing or surpassing the life expectancy of human beings and is the end of the human life cycle. Okay, so that's the life cycle of human. Alright, so are we done with the human life cycle? So let's proceed to the metamorphosis, a biological process by which an organism undergoes physical development or changes after being hatched or birthed. Metamorphosis is a typically marked and more or less abrupt developmental change in the form or structure of an animal, occurring subsequent to birth or hatching. It can be classified into complete and incomplete metamorphosis. The two types of metamorphosis: complete metamorphosis. Butterflies, moths, beetles, flies, and bees have complete metamorphosis. There are 4 stages in the metamorphosis of butterflies and moths. We have first the egg, larva, pupa, and adult. The second type of metamorphosis is the incomplete metamorphosis. It's a type of metamorphosis in which an insect hatches from an egg and then goes through several nymphal stages. Each nymphal stage looks like a small version of an adult but getting slightly bigger with age. At the final nymphal stage, the insect that molds into the adult form. Okay, so are we done with the metamorphosis? So let's proceed to plant life cycle. Plants are living things. They grow and they reproduce like any other living things. They follow a cyclic process of starting a new life, growing and then coming back to the starting stage. Plants start their life from a seed, and grow up a mature plant. So, the flower life cycle. The stamen is the male reproductive organ. It consists of a pollen sac and a long supporting filament. This filament holds the anther in position, making the pollen available for disposal by wind, insects, or birds. The pistil is a plant's female part. It generally is shaped like a bowling pin, and it is located in the flower's center and consists of a stigma, style, and ovary. The stigma is located at the top. It is connected by the style to the ovary. The ovary contains eggs, which resides in ovules. If an egg is fertilized, the ovule develops into a seed. The next stage is germination. When the proper conditions are met for the seed, it will begin to sprout. The process of sprouting of seed, usually after a period of dormancy, is called germination. The next step is seedling. A very young plant that grows after germination, it starts growing towards the sunlight. Plants need sunlight, nutrients, water, and air to survive. Photosynthesis helps the seedling grow in a mature plant. When a plant becomes mature, it started to grow flower. And flowers produce seed. A mature plant has leaves, roots, stem, flower, and fruits. Okay, that's all for the plant life cycle. Let's proceed to animal life cycle. There are animals that born alive and hatch from eggs. And these are the animals that was born alive. Most mammals like dogs, cats, and cows were born alive. They look alike with their parents. Mammals develop from the union of the sperm and egg. The resulting fertilized egg stays and develop inside the mother's womb until its birth. These are the animals that hatch from eggs. We have the snakes, chickens, and turtles were hatched from eggs. The parent will sit on eggs to incubate them until the eggs hatch. Alright, so can you list down the other animals that hatch from eggs and born alive? Can you do it, children? Alright, so now that we know about the different life cycle of organism, let's explore each one of them in detail. So again, what are the different life cycle? Okay, we'll learn about the human life cycle that starts with a fetus, infant, childhood, adolescence, adulthood, and old age. We will learn how a baby reached the old age. We will learn about the metamorphosis and has two types, the incomplete and the complete metamorphosis. Butterflies goes through the process of complete metamorphosis, where it starts from the egg that laid on the plants by the adult female butterfly, next to become a larva stage, where it grows into split skin and shed is about 4 or 5 times. Next stage is the pupa, where the transition stage is going on and lasts an adult butterfly. We will learn about incomplete metamorphosis. Examples of this are grasshopper, cockroach, and mosquitoes. So we will learn about the plant life cycle that starts with a seed, followed by the germination, the next that is seedling and mature plant. We will learn about the animal life cycle, that there are animals that was born alive and hatched from eggs. Examples of animals that was born alive are dogs, cats, and cows, and many more. Can you list down the animals that born alive, hatched from eggs, and insects go through complete metamorphosis? Can you do that, children? Alright, wonderful! So, are you done, children? Okay, so thank you for this day. The class are very participative. I'm so very thankful. And this is the end of our lesson of living things and their environment, comparing the life cycle of an organisms. Thank you, wonderful children. Bye-bye. See you next lesson.